Okay, Danny, we're just telling your entire story. Okay, so you were born where and when?
I was born in Long Beach, California
Mm-hmm.
on November 2nd, 1992.
So how old are you right now?
I'm 28. I turned 28 in November.
So you're almost 29.
Yes, almost.
Nice. And right now you're living in San Diego.
Yes, I'm currently living in San Diego, and I play for the San Diego Wolfpack
Wheelchair basketball team.
Obviously, I
Yeah,
can't really play
obviously.
able-bodied basketball.
Well, it
but-
could be any sport. You could be playing other adaptive sports.
It's wheelchair basketball, and I'm playing with some vets, which is a great privilege for me because when I was younger, that was actually one of the things I wanted to do, is join the army or do something like that. And that's just because I think the area I grew up in, it was either like, there's a lot of violence and things like that. So a lot of my friends either took that route or the other route. Which
But you had a
wasn't
disability.
great. Yeah, and I had a disability, so I couldn't really use that route.
So what is your disability?
My disability is arthrogryposis. In simpler words, it's
You're
just
born with it.
yeah, I was born with it. Usually, the people that have that disability are born with it. It's just pretty much if you have two joints that are contracted and club feet.
Like the minimum you need is 2 joints.
Two joints.
Do you only have 2 joints?
I only have 2 joints.
So you were born, you're a little baby, and what did your legs, were they already a certain way?
Yeah, well, the doctors describe it as frog legs. You know how if you put a frog on their back, their legs are kind of like that.
And you were born like
that?
that?
Yeah, just like that. Yeah.
Did you have to do a C-section?
Nah, my mom. Yeah, my mom.
Did that hurt
her? I would think so.
Were you
Like
head
she
first? Or
busted 2 shoulders.
how much did you weigh when you were born?
I'm not sure, to be
Were you
honest.
premature?
No, I wasn't premature.
And you have brothers and sisters, and none of them have disabilities?
No, I actually have, the last set of siblings were twins, and they're just fine.
And your parents are from Mexico?
My parents are from Mexico, my mom's from Oaxaca, and my dad's from Zacatecas.
That's cool.
Yeah, and they met in Long Beach, and then
How?
they met me.
They came here for...
They came here. Well, my mom came here because my grandpa had a job here, and he brought everyone over. And then my dad, he ended up coming here because my grandpa was also here, but he was just kind of doing his own thing. And so my dad, as they got older, I guess they were like, well, screw it, I'm not gonna stay in Mexico.
Was life over there where your mom was like not good?
Where my mom, well, my mom, like her side of the family, they didn't really struggle all that much. To be honest, I think if she wouldn't have met my dad, she probably would have gone back to Mexico. And my dad, he was just a young guy.
How old
trying
were
to
they when
find
they
himself.
met?
My mom was 19, I think, and my dad was 18.
And then, so do you have older siblings?
No, I'm the oldest one.
So, how old were they when they had you?
She was 20 and he was 19.
So they had been dating
Right,
for like
yeah.
a year.
About, I believe so. I'm not.
And they were in Long Beach,
Yeah,
which is like
in
a
Long
good
Beach.
area, right?
No, it's a not crazy area, but it's not the best area. Yeah, it's just low income.
What did they do for a job?
My mom, she worked at a restaurant, and she also did like a lot of sewing and stuff like that. And my dad, he was a butcher. Like, my dad has done a lot. He was a butcher, and then later on in his life, he decided to become a mechanic. And so that's what he does now.
So she was working at like a restaurant and he was a butcher when they had you.
Yeah.
Were like, do you know, were they like scared or like worried or What happened from like not knowing? No, you said you didn't know what it was.
Yeah,
right?
well,
Didn't you just find out? You thought you said you.
I found out. No, I didn't find out. Like, like 4 or 5 years ago, I moved to Washington. They had like a big old clinic about just my disability, and that's where I found out most of the information and how much my disability ranges. And technically, they don't call it a disability. Is more like we have a symptom, because the spectrum is so wide. Like, there's some kids that it affects.
Like, it's like
their arms, the way they breathe. Yeah, like.
And it affects 2 joints at all.
That's the minimum.
Like, what other joints does it look like?
A lot. Well, I've seen people, like, for example, my teammate Adam Cruz, which I was really close to when I was at U of A. He was one of the first people that I met and got close to that had my disability, and he can actually walk perfectly. His legs are pretty small, which is crazy. He has club feet, but
What's club feet? Stuck?
When your feet are kind of like curled.
Like the toes
Yeah,
are curled?
just curled. Yeah, they're like kind of angled in.
It's painful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're just tight. Your toes are super tight.
So what if it was in your arms? What would it look like?
Well, like I was saying, he had it in his shoulders, and his problem was he couldn't raise his hands up higher than this. So his shoulders are tight.
So you wouldn't really know.
No, yeah, you wouldn't really tell.
Because if your legs were like this when you were born, would your arms ever be stuck a certain way from it?
If you have it severely, yes. Like I saw another kid that had it in his arms, and he had like he was in a power chair. He couldn't move his hands. He had, even his hands looked like club feet, like they were really small, and it affected him bad. It looked like. And
so what does it do to your joints? It like stiffens them?
They're just tight. Yeah, they're just tight.
So is it like your tendons?
Yeah, your tendons. So
it's like cerebral palsy, like tightness.
Yeah, kind of. So they say that the way that we end up with that symptom is that, like, for me, for example, they said that my mom didn't have enough fluid, amniotic fluid in the stomach, so when I was developing and I guess trying to grow my legs, I didn't really get the chance to move them and get all those. It's like if you had your arm in a cast for mad years, it's gonna get stuck like that, and unless they start really like messing with it and pulling it, it's gonna. That's a
good thing to know about.
Yeah, so
like. Did they know she didn't have a lot of fluid when she was pregnant?
That's a guess. That's what they came up with.
It's just a guess.
Yeah, I mean.
I wonder if it's also like, I don't know enough about being pregnant, but like dehydration, like. I don't even know if the amniotic fluid has anything to do with that.
Yeah, I mean it's so rare. It affects one in every 3,000 living births. So it's
So you were born with that, and did they give you or mom any options? Like, did they say you can amputate or?
Right away, no. Like, they were trying to figure out what I really had, to be honest. I feel like, because when I went to that children's hospital clinic up in Washington, I actually was able to pull all my medical records, which I didn't even think about until that hospital required me to get them. And it was pretty cool getting to read all my records and see what really happened, what the doctors were thinking, because they write everything down, especially when
Yeah, it's interesting, and it was so long ago.
Yeah,
so far.
during my mom during labor, they actually broke my femur as they were taking me out of her, which she didn't even know, which is crazy. Yeah, so
they're probably worried because you might have been stuck or something, and they were freaking out.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah.
So what femur? Did it change anything?
Nah, I believe it was my right femur.
Do you have any pain or any weird like?
I don't even have a scar. I don't know if it was like like a slight fracture or what, but it's said on the records that that did happen.
So are both your legs still stuck in the exact same position
I
from
never
when you
got
were born?
I never got any surgeries other than on my toes, and that's because my toes were super curled and I wasn't able to fit my feet in any shoes. But
so they released your tendons?
How
come they haven't released tendons and anything else, or just like
I mean, you can't. I didn't really look into it all that deeper. When I went to that clinic, a lot of doctors, every time I see them, they're just like, bro, you know, you're fine how you are. Like, I'm able to feel my legs, I'm able to move them.
So how much can you move them?
I mean, not crazy, but like in wheelchair basketball, it helps a little bit, and I feel
Can you stick your leg out?
No, that's the disability.
Mm-hmm.
It's tight.
But you can lift it up.
Yeah, I can lift it up. But
on both of your legs?
And this one, not this one too much.
Mm.
My left side is my dominant side, so I can do more with my left side.
Do you end up getting sores from your leg rubbing into your other leg?
No.
There's scar tissue from it?
No. Nothing no pain.
Because I have a lot of scar tissue and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I think because my legs they just grew that way, and so I feel like the muscle never really developed, so that I didn't go through no like pain in that. I do get like nerve pain here and there, but I think that's just because of me being sitting down all the time and just like the positions I'm in.
Yeah.
But other than that, like everything is normal for me. My sex life is normal. I don't need any pills or anything to help me, get to those points.
Yeah.
Which,
sure.
it's...
I was thinking, I was like, should I ask about that stuff? Because I do think it's...
No, yeah, my disability, luckily, it doesn't affect me like that. Like I said,
you don't need help to go to the bathroom or anything.
I don't cath.
Yeah,
number two is
really
my bowel
joints.
movements are fine. I don't need to worry about what I eat.
Do you have full ab function?
I have most ab function. My back is also a little messed up, which is because my hips are a little off, and that's because of how I'm sitting. But other than that, everything is pretty much normal. That's why when I go to doctors and stuff, they're like, we can do certain things, but the outcome might not be what you want. You might set you back, and the recovery time is, and when all this was happening, I was peaking in my basketball career, so it was either stay out for 4 or 5 years, not play anything, just be.
And basketball is what gave you everything.
Oh yeah, basketball gave me everything. It's given me everything.
Well, just before we get into all of that, how about you just starting as a kid, so your mom's just setting you on the ground. You're not gonna work on walking or crawling. So she, what was that like? And then did you go to preschool or?
Well, I mean, when I was a baby, luckily everything was normal because everyone is crawling. Your baby is. I was crawling fine. I was going to the bathroom fine.
But you probably crawled differently, right?
No, I crawl. I could move my legs. It was not a perfect crawl, but it was a crawl.
Yeah.
I wasn't scooting. I wasn't using my arms all extra.
Everything was developing normally, sitting up and rolling over.
Yeah, everything was fine. Maybe that's why my parents weren't all crazy worried right off the rip. So yeah, that was one of their worries, was they didn't know exactly what I had when I was born, but as I started growing up, they saw that I wasn't all crazy different, especially in those stages, because walking is, but then once I got older, they, hooked me up with a wheelchair.
How old were you when you got your first wheelchair?
I was about maybe 5, I believe. Tiny chair. And yeah, I mean, it was just, they carried me.
What did you do with that
most of the
wheelchair?
time. It's still in my house.
I want to see
Yeah,
it.
my mom kept it.
That's so cute.
Yeah, yeah, so
You can give that to your kid as like a doll wheelchair.
nah. It's all beat up. I don't know why she has it.
I'm glad she
It's
does.
all like rusted and stuff, but
Yeah, it's so cute.
it's not all crazy small. I haven't seen it actually.
Was it probably too big for you?
Well, back then, was another problem, is that they all look like hospital chairs, like what we have over there. So it was very bulky. But I totally understand why they did it that way, because we are growing,
They push
especially
you.
as kids. Well, no, those chairs you're able to make like. It grows with you, so they're able to adjust it and make it bigger as you're growing.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, chairs are pretty expensive, and when you're a kid, you grow like that.
That crazy.
And so, that was pretty much it. Like, I mean, I got around. They were pushing me in a chair, but what was cool about my family, especially the ones around me, they didn't treat me any different. Like, I played with my cousins. I BS with my cousins.
And you said you guys didn't have a car, right?
Yeah, for the longest we didn't have a car.
Did you have a car when you were born?
No.
So you guys were taking the bus and stuff?
Yeah, we were taking the bus.
See, I think your parents just weren't like stressing about it because they're just maybe used to just being hard workers and just being like, we'll just figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's your like mindset.
Yeah, I mean, and then like all like I said, they were giving me options, but not they were still experimenting with a lot of surgeries and stuff. And I was only like 10 or 11, so I wasn't in that mindset where and again, they were asking me to give up everything.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I feel like if I would have done all that, I would have resented myself.
But wait,
because
you got a chair when you were 5.
Yeah.
And then you were introduced to adaptive sports at what age?
At around 8 or 9.
And before that, your first school that you went into, like you were in a special education class, right? And so you were in that class, but you were like doing like cognitively, you were just doing really
I was
well.
just doing whatever. Yeah, I was.
But you said it like kind of held you back a little bit.
Well, yeah, because like people in 1st, 2nd grade, they're starting to kind of get their letters down, numbers, whatever, learning how to spell. And I was worried about what colors I wanted. It was a lot of coloring, and just everything was super slow.
In your class that you were in.
Yeah,
but you were ready to do what other kids were doing.
And there was a big process to get me out of that, and I had to pass tests.
And your parents didn't speak English very well.
No, so they didn't really know how to advocate and push the envelope. Because, sometimes...
Or maybe they didn't even know they needed to, right?
Yeah, I mean, they were working, man. So they were just like, they act like they know what they're doing for you, and like, they're doctors and teachers, so if they specialize in that, you would know. But they don't think a lot of the times they keep you in special ed or whatever to meet the quota, which is sad because they're if you don't need to be in there, but because you're in a wheelchair, you fit in, and if they need a certain amount of numbers, they're gonna squeeze you in just because they're able to get away with it.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes, and so that people don't realize, like my parents, And so I don't know if that happened, but yeah, it took a while and a lot of effort to get me out of special ed.
Like Sasan, in his interview, he always said that he wondered, like, when am I gonna get out of this? Like, I don't belong in here, like these kids are different than me, and he felt bad for them, and like, but like he just knew that he had more capability, and but you didn't really have those thoughts of like, I don't think
right off, like, I got out in 3rd grade, so I was just...
And you got out because of a teacher advocating for you?
Yeah, well, yeah, and me too. I mean,
I'm saying that's what you did.
Yeah, well, she's the one that really pushed the envelope for me, but I was just like,
What teacher was it?
Miss Baker. Well, there was a couple teachers that helped me out, Miss Baker and Miss De Leon. She was my kindergarten teacher. But yeah, I mean,
so then
I don't know. I feel like maybe if I was in 5th, 6th grade, that's when you kind of are like, well, hold up.
Yeah.
But around 3rd grade is like, bro, I just want to hang out. I ain't worried. Like, if I don't have to do work, why? Like, I'm not, I'll just be
Yeah, you're just playing
I'm
coloring.
able to come and go from class as I please because I'm smart enough to manipulate those teachers because they're worried about other things that are more important. So, like I said, I had no issues with going to the bathroom. So I could, that was one thing I always did. I was like, yo, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I didn't need anyone to go with me. And, they just let me go just like any other kid. And I knew that they were going to be overwhelmed and busy with other things in that class. So I was able to do what I wanted. And so, I was just a kid. So no, I didn't really have those thoughts. But yeah, once I got into 3rd grade, I actually was held back in 3rd grade to get into, the regular classes. And that was actually really tough for me in the beginning because it was just like they just put me in there. And they're like, yeah, you want to be a badass, go for it.
But then you were like, they just put you into 3rd grade and then you weren't able to do all this stuff. And so then they held you back in 3rd grade? No,
they had, like, I was a 3rd grader. I was supposed to go into 4th grade. They were trying to just throw me into regular ed 4th grade. But I was like, my parents, that's when they talked to my mom. And my mom's like very old school, and she's like, well, nah, I think it's better if he stays in 3rd grade, like it'll help him.
That's good.
And I'm happy that did happen because it was very tough in the beginning because I went from like adding and subtracting the timetables and dividing right off the rip, which I had like...
Or from coloring to...
Well, yeah, like everything was super easy, and then it just like you started reading, people were just like reading, and
was it overwhelming or...
Yeah, I feel like that's why I didn't do too hot in school because I felt like I was already behind. On top of that, English was my 2nd language because my parents only speak Spanish, so I grew up, from a baby to like 3, 4, it was nothing but Spanish. Like everyone spoke Spanish in my family, not a lick of English. So yeah, I think that's what...
Did it make you question yourself? Like, did it make you wonder if you were not smart enough, or you started kind of...
Nah, I always was like, screw it, like I'm just gonna get by, and I was always really good at like, doing what I needed it to get by, like, and I always had like great friends. Mac, he helped me a lot.
When did you meet Mac?
Well, we met in kindergarten, but we weren't.
Were you guys both in the special ed class together?
Yeah. But he got out a lot faster.
How? How did he get out?
Well, he was just missing a leg. He low-key was walking everywhere.
Mac was my Illinois college teammate. He played on the men's team, and then he was Danny's good friend.
Yeah, he's my best friend.
Yeah, he's best friend.
My childhood best friend.
Yeah, and he says he was born lucky because he was born without a leg.
Yeah.
So.
No, yeah, we got lucky, especially in the areas we grew up in because, those areas definitely push you to different lifestyles, especially the lifestyles that we made for ourselves now, crazy.
So you got into that, you started doing, catching up in school, and then it wasn't until you were 10 that you were introduced to adaptive sports.
Yeah, around 5th grade. So me and Mac met in kindergarten. He's the one that actually introduced me to the sport.
Did you guys play sports?
So
Did you try and play able-bodied sports before and feel like, man, I can't keep up?
Oh, nah. Well, I'm gonna get to that. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah. So we met in kindergarten. We weren't the best of friends. We didn't even really like each other. And then he kind of...
Why didn't you like him?
I don't know. I was a kid. I was more... When I was younger, I was really shy, super timid. Just try to stay to myself and just do my own thing. I'm still kind of like that, but now I'm just more outspoken and if you test me, I'm gonna push back.
And then Mac was this happy,
he evened me out because he was always social and happy, and everyone was a friend, and he wants to meet everyone, and he sees everything. He's like, oh, she's so cool, and
Yeah.
I'll be like, cool, bro.
Don't be sad, smile.
Yeah, like, all right. Like, I even tell him, like, yo, sometimes, like, the only reason we see each other is because you really push the envelope, like, you know, like, for when he came this time, where he was like, come on, man, like,
yeah, he's like, I'm not letting you go like Danny lets you go. He's like, I'm not stealing you off the phone, I'll pay for your parking. Megan, don't do this.
Yeah,
I'm
he's like
Mac,
that.
I'm leaving. Like, I've been looking for parking for 30 minutes.
Yeah, see, I would have been like, yeah, I feel you, bro.
Yeah, that's what you did. You're like, okay,
yeah,
I get
like,
it.
What you, yeah, like,
and I'm like, Mac, no.
But yeah, and then we ended up meeting back up in 3rd grade, and like I said, he helped me out a lot, and then I guess like we split up again because he was actually doing really well, and he was in like the honors classes or whatever, like the higher up classes. And so after the 3rd grade class, I went on to like just regular 4th grade, and then somehow in 5th grade we ended up back in like the same group, and that's where he actually introduced me to basketball, and that's because we had PE and we were playing against able bodies, and I wasn't doing too bad because I mean, you know, all you gotta really do is like shoot and pass the ball.
Yeah, and you were using a wheelchair and he was using his arm
No,
crutches.
he was using a wheelchair also. So we kind of like guard each other, and then
You guys are
like,
so cute.
Yeah, and like everyone else would play, and like so it was fun. And so yeah, that's how.
And you guys were just happy, and you had each other, and so that's
yeah,
really cool too.
and those which helped. I bet.
I bet.
Yeah, because it was very important to have that other person to connect with and to experience things with.
Otherwise, you might just be like off to the side on your own.
Yeah, and again, because I was very like shy and not outgoing like he is. Like he wants to make friends with The Rock.
Blessing.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because like I said, he brought me into the sport, and then and he's a true friend. And when I realized that is, so he introduced me to the sport.
What sport?
Wheelchair basketball. And so
When you were
that's my
10.
main sport, you guys. So when I talk about sports, it's mostly wheelchair basketball. And so, yeah, when I was like 10 years old, and when I realized he was like a real true friend is when, I got into the team. And then I was doing really good. Like it came naturally. I was fast, and so they bumped me up to varsity right away.
Wait, but what team? Like, how did he introduce you to it? How did he find it?
I think the coach came up to him at like a hospital, Lisa Hilborn, and she used to just go to Children's Hospital and like talk about and recruit. I think that's how they met. I'm not quite sure.
And you had never been told about it before then?
No. Nah, not.
And did you go to physical therapy at all or anything?
Yeah, but not all crazy because my disability isn't progressive, and I mean,
yeah,
like I said, you're stuck in a position. So no matter what you really do, you're kind of like, it is what it is.
Yeah. So Mac found out about it, and then he told you.
Yeah, he told me. He's like, "Yo, you should come out and try it out," and I did, and yeah, I ended up being really good at it, and they moved me up, and that's where we separated again because he kind of stayed at JV, and I was up in varsity.
Yeah.
But like that never affected him. Like other people, I feel like
you're probably like really young up on varsity, right?
Yeah, I was only like 12.
But you were like so fast.
Yeah, I was. That's why I know so many people like Marcus Oden, Brandon Downs. Like I watched all those guys play like their last couple of years, not because but I had that honor because I started so young. Yeah.
Do you remember how it felt when you first played or like got out there?
Not really. I mean, it was nerve-wracking. Like I know for a fact I was always nervous, and that was pretty much it. I was just nervous, but for the most part, like I said, it came to me naturally. So I didn't struggle with that all that much.
Everyone like loves your playing style. They always talk about how like incredible your chair skills are. You just like you're so scrappy and fast, and so you just make crazy things happen. And so I can imagine you getting brought up to varsity and
yeah, right away.
like, and Mac just like, you know, he's fundamental, like he's like the play, but you're just like feisty.
And so yeah, I mean, and that was a blessing also because I got to learn and watch all kinds of amazing players like Malcolm Wright, Ian Pearson. Those are like the biggest names on my team, and I was fortunate enough to watch them ball out and learn a lot from them. But yeah, that's how I ended up in varsity. It was very nerve-wracking in the beginning, but I made it work.
But then like my nerves and my butt hurt, like my, not my butt, but my side of my butt. So like then you started when you were 10 and you got rid of varsity, and then, you know, middle school, high school, like you said that you started getting really popular, right? Or like girls were like,
well, in middle school, once elementary school was over, we hit 6th grade, and I was fortunate enough to be in the same school. Like we were sent to the same school, me and Mac, which was super cool again, because I guess in certain areas there were only certain schools that had like a real special ed program. We weren't in the special ed program, but our files needed to be kept by them, like our medical records. If anything happened, those schools were a little bit more accessible with more ramps. They were one floor, and so they sent us to the same school. That was Hill Classical Middle School.
How far did you live far from it?
I was. It was a nice distance.
Was there like a bus that picked you up?
Yeah, it was a bus. Yeah, the bus
special,
always. Yeah, it was a special bus.
That's cool.
With a ramp and all that. Yeah, we went to middle school together, and my middle school experience, my elementary school experience wasn't bad at all. I had a lot of fun. Bullying was never a big issue for me in an elementary school.
Like it wasn't an issue at all.
Yeah. And then when I got into middle school, where things start getting a little bit more real, I had the basketball thing to actually fall back on. And so I had already had, I was doing so well. And then me and Mac were always shooting hoops and playing outside. And people just thought that was really cool. And they, you know, we used to play with other able-bodied kids, and
you had your basketball wheelchairs.
No, every day.
Oh, you were playing in your everyday chairs? So you didn't have a basketball chair at that point?
Not at the school.
So at school,
Yeah, not at the school. So it was just like pickup game, nothing crazy serious, just like, you know, having fun, shooting hoops. I did.
But they were like, whoa, you can do things.
Yeah, like we were in the regular ed classes, and that helps a lot because then you start making friends with I feel like you're a little bit more vulnerable to bullying, like if you're sectioned off into special ed, and then all of a sudden, like if the 3rd grade, all that would have happened in middle school, I think it would have been a little tougher for me, because then I'm coming from all these disabled kids, and then
and people need, like, when they have things they can relate to you about, like, it helps them.
And then basketball, and then I don't know, I had really good friends, and they always ended up being top dogs in the playground, so nobody really you know, had the balls to mess with me, because they really couldn't. And then when they did, see, every time, because I mean, I have been harassed, and like people call names and stuff.
Like what?
I mean, I don't know, like just like you're in a wheelchair, or
do they say like your sport isn't even like?
Nah,
like some girl just
told
me that people said that to her. That, like,
I mean, I don't remember, but I know, like, you know, I know for a fact that people have like roasted me and like talk shit, but I mean, it doesn't affect me, because I think about it like this, that like that person talking shit, there's something wrong with them also, and I always pick on that. Like if you're gonna pick on me, you know, no one is ever perfect. Everyone always has an imperfection, or they're always insecure about something, And you know, if people ever try to bully me, I always jumped on whatever their imperfection was. Like if you jump on my imperfection, I can make you feel just as bad.
Yeah.
And my comebacks are really good because I grew up with my cousins and stuff like that. So whenever,
and you're in like a tougher part of
so whenever someone came at me wrong or whatever, I was ready. Like, come on, like shoot your best line.
Like, don't mess with me.
Yeah, I was kind of like, you know, impress me. Like, what you got? Like, where's your smack talk? I love to talk smack. And like I said,
everyone's different.
It is, and like, and that helped me. Yeah, you're right. Growing up in those areas, and like I said, and I'm very observant, and so, like I said, everyone has their imperfections. If you have glasses, that's a disability. Sometimes people got diabetes, that's a disability.
Yeah, so your comebacks were kind of also just education of like, dude, wake up.
Yeah, like bro, you're freaking disabled also. Like, you're fat, you know. One time, since we're getting into the whole dating thing, I've had like girls tell me, yo, well, there was one instant where a girl told me, you're super cute. I would date you if you weren't in a wheelchair. And you want to know what my response was? Well, if I wasn't in a wheelchair, I wouldn't date you because I'd be looking for something better.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Because she wasn't the prettiest girl, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like...
and her attitude obviously wasn't really that great.
Yeah, and I was just like, well, right now, like, I'm talking to you because, you know, you're more my level, bro. Like, but, like, if you were, then, like...
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, that was my answer to that. Like, I was like, yeah, cool. Like, I totally get where you're coming from. Nothing. She just stayed quiet and turned red. It's like, I like white girls, and I love making them turn red.
Oh my god.
But no, and what's funny is that actually we started talking more after that, and it was just, like I said, everyone has...
When I said everyone's different, I wasn't meaning like everyone's different, you can pick things out to make fun. I meant like some people like to talk smack, and like that's you, and like, you know, but your comebacks, it's not like you're talking to make someone feel bad and hurt, but it's like if they're gonna hurt you, then you're gonna be like, dude, you know, wake up. Like, but you're not going around bullying. Talking shit.
I would only ever do anything like that. Like, if you came at me wrong, I'm not gonna put my head down and be like, oh, I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, I can't do this or I can't do that. I'd be like, okay, bro, but there's some shit you can't do. Like, you can't see. I could see all the way over there. If you have glasses, how far can you see?
See, my response would have been like, why do people have to be so mean? Like, and then I'd think about it a long time, and I would like let it, you know, make me feel bad, but I'd work through it, and then I'd hold my head up. But like, that's where everyone's different. Like, that's how you're raised. It's how, and your parents are tough. Like, they just taking the bus everywhere. Like, just working hard and just taking it as it comes. And I mean, it just shows like that's, you know, your foundation.
Yeah, and again, I think basketball helped me with that confidence, because a lot of the time, like, you're sticking. I see it as you're sticking up for yourself. Like with your whole incident,
I have to learn to stick up for myself.
Yeah, no, you do, and that came with basketball, and that was like with the whole brotherhood that we had, because everyone on that team was so hard on each other. Like, we would haze people, and we would be kind of a bully, but not in a bad way or in an excessive way. But like,
you don't think anyone just maybe got hurt?
No, because
you guys
we would
cared about each other too?
Yeah, I mean, we showed you that we had your back, but we would like haze, like we would make fun, not like super bad, but
it's just like you don't have to pretend like this isn't happening or that you're not acting this way. Let's just call it what it is.
You know, like if you good job, like you just smack someone extra hard, just to be like, you know, you could take a hit, bro. Like, or like if you flip over, be like, get up. I want to see you struggle.
Yeah,
like, you know, like. And if they're almost up, you push them down a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
And then that might frustrate them, but that's gonna happen. Like, not everything is easy.
Not like growing up in the richer areas where everyone runs out and everyone picks up the chairs. Just let them learn it.
Yeah, see, that's what was dope about Ranch, was like, you fell, if you didn't get up fast enough, you got your wheels taken off. Like they made you.
Your first team was what?
Rancho Renegades. Yeah. And so
But
yeah,
it's still around, right?
It's still around, yeah. It's still going hard in Downey. It's a great program. Any kids out there, if you guys are interested in the Downey area, that's definitely
California.
California. That's definitely a great program to join or to look at if you guys are interested in any kind of sports. They, like when I was younger, I played tennis with them. They took us to camps and all kinds of cool things like that.
That's cool. So yeah, when were you in the Sweet Life with Mac?
Oh yeah, that was when we were like in 7th grade, and that also helped me with the whole girl situation and all that, because I was doing all kinds of cool things.
How'd that come about? Like you were just going to practices, you were on varsity.
Well, actually the Sweet Life. Well, before that I was doing like little Verb commercials, like little commercials here and there, because I was so young and I had the baby face, but I was able to do all the cool tricks that all the adults are able to do.
In
so
wheelchair?
Yeah.
You were in what commercials?
The Verb commercials.
Verb?
Verb.
Like Verb, it's what you do?
Yeah, that. Like the clips, how I used to flash. I was in a lot of those.
Can you get the footage?
Nah, I've tried to look for them, but I can't find them.
There's the will, there's the way.
My will's not there. Like shoot, I barely remembered I was on the Sweet Life.
Yeah.
So I had been doing that, and then those
How'd you get those? Did your mom didn't seek them out?
No, it was they would hit up my coach, and they would be like, "Yo, so we're trying to get like disabled, like someone actually disabled to be on this commercial. We're looking for this range, the age." And I was always the go-to guy for her.
Yeah.
Fortunately, and like I said, I was super young, and I was able to do all the tricks, and thankfully my mom never said no, and she, even on the bus, she busted missions with me and my little brother. So,
oh yeah, how many siblings do you have?
I have 3 in total. I'm the oldest.
So your mom would be taking the bus with you to go to these things with your...
With my little brother. Yeah, the twins, they came a lot later in life, so they didn't experience nothing crazy. But the 23-year-old definitely rode the bus. And
how much younger than you was he?
4 years. 3 and some months.
Yeah. So what was the Sweet Life like?
It was a cool experience also. That came about, I guess they hit up my coach and they needed a team. And so she got all the varsity kids and took us out there.
And Mac was on varsity?
Yeah, by then Mac was on varsity. He wasn't too far behind. It was just like 1 or 2
I mean, you were so fast, so of course you were going to be up there.
And so, we got that opportunity. We got to meet Cole, Sprouse, and Dylan. And they were super cool kids, like super humble.
Were they your age?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they're definitely our age.
Did they seem like they were your age? Or did they seem older?
Well, we didn't crazy interact with them just like on set, because they had us separated. Like they had their own thing going, and we were just there.
Yeah, but and you guys just pushed in a circle around.
Yeah, and then they actually played ball with us, which was super cool. Yeah, they're super.
What was the show about, like that episode?
Wheelchair basketball. So in that episode, pretty much one of their friends got injured, and they were playing basketball, able-bodied basketball, and then they were feeling bad, like they were trying to see what they could do for him to like get him back into that group, because he was like really depressed and down.
Yeah.
And so that was what the
then
whole episode was about.
We heard of wheelchair basketball.
No, actually we and the basketball team was staying at the Tipton, which was the hotel they were living at, and they saw us in the lobby, and that's when there's the scene where we're rolling around and like just messing around in the lobby.
Oh, that's what I saw.
And that's when they are like, oh, like, dog, there's a whole bunch of kids in wheelchairs playing basketball. And yeah,
it's funny because that's how it is. Like
Yeah,
when we go on trips or like kids teams go, like you see a whole bunch of kids in wheelchairs that are super active.
Yeah, and yeah, that was the sweet life. And then after that, I was able to come up on another commercial to promote Disney XD. That one was also really cool and also a big blessing. And that one, again, they just kept hitting up my coach.
That's awesome.
To give
she was a really good advocate, right?
Oh yeah, she was.
Is that Clay's mom?
No, she Lisa Hilborn. It's her companion.
Yeah, but this is one of his moms.
Yeah, it's one of yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, and then that also like helped you out a little bit, cause
yeah, well, she helped me out immensely in the beginning. Like she was the reason why I got a regular chair. She got me out of the big old hospital chair I was in. She helped me with school somewhat. And she pushed the crap out of my basketball career, which made me the player that I am today.
So you like finished high school, you were playing on Rancho and adaptive sports. I mean, wheelchair basketball just like gave you so much.
Yeah, they gave me all the opportunities I got in life pretty much. Like without wheelchair basketball, I don't know how many doors would have actually opened.
Friends that you
Oh yeah, friends, yeah. I mean,
role models, mentors.
Yeah, everything.
Traveling.
Relationship, girlfriends, everything was through basketball pretty much.
Yeah.
Like my first serious girlfriend, I met her through wheelchair basketball.
Because her mom was a coach, right?
Yeah, her mom was a coach.
Yeah. And then you've traveled everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to Europe. I lived in
Played
Arizona.
overseas in Europe.
I lived in Arizona for a few years, in Washington.
Can we talk about like that stuff? Because I mean, there's gonna be kids that end up going to college and maybe struggling, or what, you went, but you didn't you didn't finish college, right?
Yeah, no.
Which is total, like, it happens, and
Yeah.
so what was your experience there? And then you went overseas, and then what was your experience of how you felt and your choices,
Right. So school, again, I've always struggled with school. I didn't ever really like school, so it was really hard to get motivation. And on top of that, at that level, like, they ask a lot, and your time is, and then you're a kid, so partying gets in the way, and freedom and all that good stuff. Like I said,
it's like your first independence too, because you're like going off.
Well, I mean, I took off when I was 17. Like I said, I moved up to Washington.
You lived with your girlfriend and her mom.
Yeah.
To do the clinic.
To do the clinic, right? And I was there for like a year.
And you were going to barber school.
That was after. That was way after. Oh. Yeah. Nah, at that point, I was just trying to focus on trying to see what my disability was, and all that information.
You felt like you really wanted to understand yourself.
Well, yeah, because for the longest, like, it was always about basketball. Like, from the age of 9 to like the age of 17, it was ball. That was it. I was eating, breathing basketball. That was all I was doing. It was like the best
thing that like happened to you.
Yeah,
it was just, like,
and so
amazing.
Once I did great. I mean, my junior year in high school, I was the MVP of the national tournament, and I had gotten second place at nationals. And so that's what, after that, I don't know, I kind of had like I went through like a weird phase where I kind of was like, okay, what's next? Like, I'm over this. Like, varsity was getting too easy. Like, it,
and you only have like one team in the whole state,
that is actually giving you competition.
Yeah.
Like, for me, at least, it was, I don't know, I was just like over it, and I had never met anyone with my disability, and I was 17, questions like genetics, like, was this gonna affect me and my children, things like that. And so that's when all those questions started coming up, And so yeah, I found out about that clinic. And
How'd you find out about it?
My girlfriend's mom actually told me about it, and I was in between the age limit, and she helped me get into that whole situation, which I'm very grateful that she did that for me. And yeah, that helped me a lot, figuring out, like, making me more comfortable with my disability and more confident. Like, you know, like I could actually be like, okay, this wasn't my mom's or my dad's fault, and you know, I saw something that happened. Like, they don't even know how it happened.
But the amniotic fluid really does sound like
it does, but that's like they don't have concrete evidence that's. I mean, I'm sure that could play a part. It might. I don't know.
Do they have your mom's files about when she was pregnant? But I mean,
no, it was all. It was.
How did your girlfriend's mom find out about Tina, right?
Yeah.
How did she find out about the clinic?
Well, actually, her son Travis has osteoporosis also, and she was like a big old advocate for him, and like he had all kinds of surgeries done.
And they helped him?
Yeah, and he's like actually able to stand and walk with crutches and stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's why she was like, well, you know, there's like
was he like you when you were born?
No, I guess his legs were a little bit more like crazier. I don't know. I didn't really see like baby pictures of him, but yeah, they were, you know, I mean, it's.
So she had already been doing a bunch of research and like found the clinic.
Yeah, and
did you stay at the place for the clinic?
Yeah, they hooked us up.
For how long?
It was, well, it was like a couple 3-4 month process, because like
you lived there for 3 or 4 months.
Well, I lived with Tina. I was on and off, and yeah, like we would go to appointments and see different doctors. And
were you still playing basketball?
No, like I said, like when you're.
But she was a coach, right?
Yeah, but like I was trying to focus on school and actually, you know, getting my shit together, and then again, like. Going to doctors and doing all that takes a lot of time, and I'm not gonna half-ass basketball. Like, it was something I wanted to, like, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it.
And you needed a break, probably.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, at my age, I felt like, okay, like I was MVP. I had gone to elite camps. Like, people already knew I was good. Like, I don't know, I was just like, this is a good time where I can take time off to. I mean, I'm not just a basketball player. I needed to find out who I was also. And so, yeah, now that experience opened up my eyes to how, you know, the spectrum is so wide with my disability. Like, I could have been affected in my arms also, you know, all kinds of things. I could have had like crazy surgeries done to me. And so, yeah, it was just.
You had time to process it.
Yeah.
And how long did you take for that, like, time?
To process?
Just, like, that whole chapter of, like, I'm going to go live here and.
About a year. It was like a year and some months of, like, actually moving out there and getting all that done and going to the hospital. And so about a year, and then after I pretty much got what I needed, I went back to basketball. That's when, you know, I started making phone calls, and like I said, I was confident.
How'd you go back?
Player I am. I just make phone calls.
Were you playing with Tina's team?
No, I played with Tacoma, but not. It was just D3.
What year was that?
In 2012.
Oh, that was when. No, I wasn't there.
Yeah, no, you weren't there.
I was in college at the University of Illinois.
Yeah, nah.
Playing wheelchair basketball there.
Yeah, I didn't really play ball like seriously while I was up there. But like I said, I was already a made player, so I pretty much just made a few phone calls, and they knew the player I was. And Derek Brown, he was always super in love with me. And
at Arizona.
At Arizona, and he was always super hard on recruiting me. And Doug Garner also, he was.
What were the schools that you were looking into?
Illinois, UTA, and Arizona. Those are my three.
They offer wheelchair basketball scholarships too.
Yeah. And yeah, those were my top three. And
Doug Garner's at UTA.
At UTA, that I really wanted to go there, but I don't know. I just fell in love with Arizona the way, and it was close to home. The whole
and you
the
like
whole
driving.
setup.
So.
Yeah, it was only 6 hours from my house, like literally, from where I lived in Arizona to where I lived in LA. So that did it for me, and it was always sunny, and the campus is beautiful, super accessible. The coach, a lot of people don't like Derek Brown, but I love him. I think he's one of the best coaches I've had. I learned a lot from him.
What did you love about him?
Just how serious and in your face he is. Like, he doesn't sugarcoat. Like, I'm not a person that likes to sugarcoat stuff. I feel like a lot of the time that's a waste of time, unless the person needs it. But if not, bro, just like come at me with what you need me to do and do
and
it.
in college, like you can be more, one size in a way, but like adaptive sports, like rec teams and stuff, there's such a diverse
no, for sure,
population. So you have to be able to get everyone on the same level. And but so you went there. Did you stay in a dorm?
No, I actually got an apartment.
Was it hard to transfer in? Did you go there? Or did you
no, I
I
did community college first.
So you like started at community college because you had to get your grades up.
Yeah, and they were also a D1. They weren't in the college division. They were in the D1 division.
Yeah, they were always
so I didn't have to red shirt or anything like that. I could just straight up play with them.
Well, and because they were on the West Coast and all the other teams were like Midwest and East Coast, then they couldn't traveling. You need really good funding and support, and so Arizona kind of always was like the one that was stuck out. And
we got the short end of the stick all the time.
Yeah, but they were like hardcore.
No one ever wanted to come to our tournaments.
They played.
They're still a really good program, and now they actually are back in the college division, which is super cool. The head coach now is actually Mike Beersley, which was the assistant coach when I was there, and we're really good friends. So anyone out there wanting a wheelchair basketball scholarship, work hard and hit up Arizona, man. They're always recruiting. And
so you did community college, taking classes, and that was hard.
That was super hard to juggle because I had to take buses to the community college, and then I had to run to on campus to get to practice.
And you said you had an apartment.
Yeah, I had an apartment.
So then you also was your basketball chair at the gym, probably, huh?
Yeah, No, all that was not crazy. It was just like trying to get to class.
Have time to study, get a freaking nap in.
See, I wasn't all that crazy responsible and about those things, which is definitely important.
Did you end up transferring into Arizona?
Yeah, but only for like a year. It wasn't, because right after I was getting settled into that's when I got the opportunity to go overseas.
So how did you feel in college? Did you feel overwhelmed and I don't know if this is for me?
Yeah, I mean, I gave it a try, but everything I picked, it wasn't catching my attention. And again, if it's not grasping my attention and giving me that motivation, I don't care.
It's hard to freaking push.
And then I also saw my parents, they did a lot without going to universities, and I see the value to it, but going through it and going through all those experiences, I also see how not everyone needs to do it. That's definitely not something that you need to be upset if you can't achieve it. There's
that's something you had to learn though, because did you feel a lot of judgment from people and
pressure from my family, because I was the first one to go to school like that, and
did you have to take out loans and stuff, or
no.
They had a scholarship for you?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
I just
Yeah,
didn't know if
took
they had
care
the
of me.
funding for
Yeah.
that. That's good.
Well,
So you didn't like the pressure was like your parents just kind of were they disappointed when you?
Nah, I mean, nah, my parents aren't like that. They were just like, well, try and like do it and.
When did you
whatnot.
make the decision to go play overseas?
I mean, halfway through, I kind of knew that I wasn't gonna finish school, and I was just like, I wanna
Halfway
do
through
something.
meeting, like 2 years in.
2 years in, yeah. I was just like, yeah.
Halfway
this
through
isn't-
your first year, actually at U of A.
Yeah, I was like, this isn't my scene. I don't know. Like, if I'm not gonna take it serious, why bother? You know, like it wasn't for me.
How'd you hear about overseas and stuff?
Malcolm Wright, the guy I played with in Varsity when I was younger, he actually reached out to me, and Anthony Pone.
He plays on the Wolfpack
Yeah,
here. Now they're
here.
teammates again.
Yeah.
He was my teammate for 2 years.
Yeah, they hooked me up, and Malcolm called me and he gave me the information. I sent a video over, and that was
Just
pretty
one
much
team,
it.
you just went to Malcolm's. You
Yeah.
didn't send a video, like, because the process is like you can reach out to other teams and send videos.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you have to have a name, and
Mhm.
you know,
Because they pay you overseas, like it's actually a professional league, and they pay you to
Yeah.
play. And there's like huge crowds, and
Yeah, it's fun.
it looks awesome.
It was a dope experience. Yeah, I mean, it was a good contract, and like I always, you know, looked up to that guy. So I was super down to get the opportunity to just play with him again.
Mhm.
You know, because I learned so much from him. And then Pone, I always heard about how cool of a player he was and
Yeah.
how big he was. And then I had seen him play with Dallas while I was at the U of A. So that's why I didn't really look into any other teams, or I was, you know, it was pretty much set up for me already.
Yeah, you just knew.
Yeah.
So
they
then you went
set
over
me up.
there.
Yeah.
You went over there like straight from college, or did you go home first and then you
Nah,
went over
straight
there?
from college. Yeah. I mean, I left U of A. I grabbed all my crap, dropped it off at my mom's house.
And then
took
you went
off.
overseas.
Yeah.
And then what was that like? How long were you there for?
I was
and
there
how'd
for
you feel?
6 months. It was a dope opportunity. It's something that I've never experienced before. I mean, I was in a whole other. That experience actually made me appreciate what my parents went through, because I was in a whole different country and I didn't understand crap from anybody, and I was like,
Mhm.
whoa, like I couldn't read, like nothing. If
Mhm.
I needed to go to the bathroom, I was screwed, or you know, hand gestures.
Was it really isolating? Or you
Yeah,
had your
it was very isolating.
lonely?
But I mean, that's the life that you sign up for.
But I don't think you know
because-
what you sign up for when you do. Like,
But I mean, it's your job. I did. I mean, I kind of had an idea, because just playing for the U of A, like your body, after you put it through things, it needs time to recover, and like, you know, like you had opportunities to do things, but it was just like we were practicing 3 times a
Yeah.
day.
your job is to be ready.
Yeah, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
We would freaking have games on the weekends, so
Mhm. It's your whole life.
It's not. I mean, we were, you know, we went here and there, but it wasn't like.
So you sacrifice
crazy.
a lot, and I know because I did it in college and the USA team for like freaking 13 years, 12 years, you know, and you get like you miss out on birthdays and weddings
Everything, yeah.
and holidays and every single thing, like babies being born. And so like if you could tell someone that is going overseas like what to expect, you know, with that, like you're gonna experience, like my neighbor was just telling me how someone reached out to him when he wanted to move, and they told him, you know, be ready to be extremely lonely, be ready to like face this, and like you gotta just push through it and it's gonna get better. But
Yeah.
like what types of things did you experience that you were like, this isn't what I signed up for, even though it is what you signed up for?
Well, I mean, just being far away from the States and being far away from everyone you love, that's the hardest part. You got to be ready. You got to know that's, you know, like for example, while I was out there, my relationship, my personal relationship with my girlfriend had deteriorated because of the distance, and like we weren't really talking, and just a lot of stuff was happening, and I was like way over there. And so yeah, it's just, you got to be ready for all those things. Like you're on it's like you're on a different planet almost, because like and yeah, you're gonna be isolated, but you just have to focus on what you're there for, and if your love is big enough for the sport, it's gonna be worth it.
But
I mean, I wouldn't change it. The only thing that I, you know, regret was the only reason I didn't go back overseas was because my grandma, she ended up getting cancer, and so she ended up passing away from it, and that's one regret.
Wait, while you were over there, because didn't you leave early?
Nah, I came for Christmas, and then while I was here for Christmas, I kind of, you know, my grandma wasn't doing too hot.
You were really close with your grandma?
Yeah, she was definitely very important in my life. Yeah, I mean, I'm closest with my mom, and she was my mom's mom, and so yeah, I was super close to her. And
just like not being around during all of that, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, and like when they're old, like when people are older, they don't see the big picture, and so a lot of like when we talk, a lot of it is like, yo, why are you always away and you're never around? And I get that a lot.
And were they? I thought you said things like they didn't understand you playing basketball. Like they were like, well, get a job or.
That's more like my parents, not my grandparents. My parents were just like not sure that, you know, they were like, well, you don't get paid all that much, and if you do get paid, you gotta go way over there, and you know.
But it's just like it's like an experience that.
Yeah, and they don't see all the other opportunities. Like they're very Mexican, so they are like income, like you need a job, and you know, you need to pay your bills, but like this is a different lifestyle. Like here, I don't get paid in the States, but we get commercials, we get all kinds of other things.
And you're raising awareness, you're making like everything better for the next.
It's
like
not,
you make sacrifices to kind of.
It's not crazy money, but it's definitely, you know, like if you put your mind to it, you can do whatever you want. Not everything is about money. You might not have all the luxury, but I mean, if your life is making you happy, that's all that really matters.
So you came back, you visited your family, and you knew your grandma was sick.
Yeah, well, I already knew that she was going through her struggles, so when we came back for Christmas, I actually got to see her and see how bad it actually was, because I mean, over the phone, you kind of put it in the back of your head because you don't want it to affect you all that much, but actually seeing it up close and personal, it's like a whole different situation. And then I mean,
you went back.
I had to choose my family over basketball for the first time, and I would do it again. It's nothing that I regret or anything, like, you know.
You're just totally like not happy over there anymore.
I mean, if my grandma's situation wouldn't have happened, I would have definitely stayed over there and kept going with what I was doing.
Thought about going back?
Yeah. I mean, actually, that's why I signed up for the Wolfpack, because they're organized. They have the funds to help me train to get to that level again, because you definitely need to be in shape and on top of your game to be able to go over there and have people vouch for you, or people just give you that opportunity. So yeah, I came here I'm gonna be here for like at least 2 years, so I'm gonna try my best to get back into shape, work on things that I needed to work on, and see what happens. I mean, I want to go back, but yet again, I'm doing fine here. Like, there's a lot of opportunities here too.
Yeah.
So it's not something that's crazy, but it's definitely something I know I can achieve if I wanted to.
So I guess just to catch up to here, like you left overseas, you came back. Is that when you went to barber school?
Yeah, that's when I went to barber school, because while I was overseas, I kind of had, I was preparing for everything, and I wasn't gonna be overseas all that much because like I had a girlfriend, so the whole plan was for.
All right, sum it up to where you are. You went overseas, you came back, you went to barber school, you played the Tacoma Titans, we met. Then you moved to Arizona.
Yeah, I bought a house in Arizona. I moved to Arizona. I sold my house in Arizona. Now I'm in San Diego.
Bam!
Ready
and
to
if you
train
want to
for
know
2
more,
years.
ask the questions. But his roommate is calling, so I gotta answer and move my car. Got anything else to say?
Peace.
Yeah.
Nah.
Bye.